Hey everyone, Alvin here, Jamieson's Repair Shop, back on the 1978 Bronco again. In this video, I'm getting rid of the rot and the rust in the dog leg. Also clean up some of the areas where the old quarter panel met the body in the mating areas. Going to clean up the wheel well area on the driver's side. I'm also going to point out a couple of things that don't come with these new quarter panels. It's no big deal. Just don't throw away your old quarter panel until you get these pieces off. So let's get at it. Let's go. Well, that's a good start. That dog leg is out. This one here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. It's I may cut up to here and build this new. We shall see. I think the new one goes up quite a ways, but still you have to fix this outer part, so I'm still looking on it. Hey, by the way, I found a set of blue bucket seats out of an 88 Bronco. Now the base brackets are wrong, kind of don't fit very well, but the seats are in really nice shape. I thought, well, kind of spiffies are up a bit, so I'll build adapters for the base. The console is the part that I was most interested in, is a blue console. Now I'm going to keep the idea of the bench seat because that's what makes this vehicle rare, is that bench seat. But for now, it looks pretty cool. I should take them out of the way so I don't cover it with stuff. And the carpet needs to come out. I can't get this screw out, but I haven't tried too hard on them. Probably a drywall screw on that one. So what we're going to do here is we're going to finish this up. I'm going to leave this section right here for now because I'm not sure how much do I want to go right in deep on the new quarter panel, or do I just want to zip it off there and weld it on? I'm not sure. And the same with this area right here. Do I want to take this factory, I can't see it, but there's a factory joint. Do I want to take that apart, or do I just want to weld onto it? I'm not sure. We're going to think about it. These I have new wheel inner wheel houses, so I'm going to get rid of these, and then we'll work our way back here. We'll clean up this joint right here, get this all cleaned off. In this bottom one here, it's going to take quite a bit of work. I wish I could buy this section right here, because this I would consider buying it if it wasn't too terribly expensive. Anybody know where, if they sell these, let me know. Put it in the comments, because immediately you would think that that section from here down would have been a reproduction by now. Anyway, let me know if you know, then I'll know. There we go, that would come off pretty easy. Now, I want to talk about this piece right there. So when I was cutting the fender off, I inadvertently cut this piece off that's in here. See that bracket? I want to talk about the things that don't come with the new quarter panels, and this is one of them. So anyway, I saved it. I got it off the old quarter panel and I saved it. And it's important because it's got the height guide on it, like tells you where the new quarter panel's to sit. Now I didn't cut that part off, but still, I need this cage nut, or this floating nut. So this is going to be an easy fix because I just have to weld it back on right there. And I don't think there was a spot weld there. There was no spot weld, so I think I just have to weld it, get it straight, and get it back on. Anyway, that's one thing. And we're going to talk a little bit about the couple other things that don't come with the new quarter panels. So these quarter panels aren't exactly what you call a direct fit. Well, let's talk about it right now. We're right here. So what doesn't come is this piece, rather. This piece right in here. You can see it. This where my thumb is scrap metal, but where the cage nut is the piece I need. And also all the rest of these floating nuts that hold on your canopy. So you need to get all these off and then weld them back on to the new quarter panel. So this is the rear one. This is where the cage nut goes on the rear. There's the back of the quarter panel. This is actually the left side quarter panel. And then that piece that I was talking about goes all the way up in here. But these cage nuts or floating nuts need to go in here like this. And they just have to be spot welded on, tack welded on. Well, not there, sorry. No, that's another one. That's the pin, the alignment pin needs to go in. And that can be done with a riv nut. Or you could weld a nut on the bottom and thread it in if you want. That depends how you do it. Yeah, these go down here. So where the oval holes are, so these cage nuts, you have to line them up and then tack them on. I'm going to try to either spot weld them on with my spot welder. I think I have enough reach to go in that deep. If I don't, I'll drill holes in these, straighten them out, drill holes in them, and I'll just plug weld them on. Yeah, so there's a few things that don't come with the new quarter panels. Of course, the gas cover and all that, we already knew that, and all the hardware for the trim doesn't come. And that's another thing, the little nubs on the other side that hold the plastic trim pieces on don't come with it. And I knew that anyway, but I had totally forgotten about these. So there's some time, man hours involved in doing all this stuff. So if you only need a small patch on your Bronco, like just a small wheel arch and maybe this inner fender, I would go with a patch panel and buy new inner fenders. But now if you have it like I did, where the whole bottoms were gone and up in here, up front was gone, then that's a different story. Go with the full panel. All right, back at her. There, that's done. That was pretty easy, actually. That took me, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe to get that off, including cutting it. So it's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to start here, I think, on this pillar for the door jamb pillar. So I already know this has to be fixed. There's a spot here and the door jamb needs to be fixed. And that right there is where that nut plate is for the door striker plate. And up in here is where I was talking about, well, about cutting this off and welding it here rather than taking this out and try to fit it, because there's no way to get in there and it's layered, multi-layered. So I think for the ease of doing it is kind of make a weld seam right here, easy to grind, and a weld seam right here where it's still easy to grind down to about right there. So that's the plan, and then I'll wrap it, keep going around here, because that's all out in the open and easy to grind and make look nice, and then that retains the factory joint right in there. Anyway, we will worry about that when we get to it. As you can see, this is not straight up and down here. It's got a bit of a curve in it. That's easy, that's not a problem. This is even easier. It goes straight down. It does wrap around the back when it has a hole in it. And then it has this piece from this curve that goes out to where the dog leg hooks on, right there. It doesn't look too complicated. As long as this end of this rocker is in good shape, and we'll check that over, and if it's not, well, we'll fix it. So because I'm fixing above the dog leg anyway, where it fits in there, I may just cut right where the top of the dog leg is, cut it right off, but I'm gonna leave this piece down in here. So let's get some measurements here. So I need to come forward to here, so I'm just gonna measure it. I got my wife's seamstress tape here. She'll love me for it. I think it's mine now. This tape is, I believe it's mine. So I'm gonna measure actually from way around here. I'm gonna do the pant leg. Let's do the pant leg. So I'll measure from there, right around to that 6 inches. And how high up do I think I need to go? But this has to be done. So it has to go from here down and like that. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come up here like this on an angle, and I can always change it when I'm building it, because it's probably gonna be a chunk of metal that goes up in there anyway. But for now, this is what this is what I want to cut out of this. So let's just say I want to do this whole as one section. So I'm going to come up to where it starts to taper. Actually, it starts tapering way up here. So it's 4 inches up here, and it stays 4 inches pretty much right to where I curve. So this is about 4 inches into this corner. And it stays 4 inches all the way up here too. Pretty much 4 inches up here. Just planning out. So when you're down here to that mark, it's only 3. It must come and then straight down, because this isn't even 4 inches. Right down here, this curve, where the curve starts, only 3 inches right here. So I'm just going to highlight that curve because it's hard to see. And if I go like this, that's about 3 inches. And that is bad shape, so that's got to come off. So then it kind of has a pie shape right here. So it's bent to get to a line back up because it steps in. So you guys can't see it, but it comes flat from here, but then it steps in to meet this right here. And this was never joined here. This is cut flat. So it went straight down. This whole section, this piece here was all one piece, right down to this, right down to there. But then there's no joint here, it's just flat. So I assumed it was flat all the way in. Doesn't look like there was ever anything welded to this. All right, well, we have that. Now, just kind of mark that off again. That marker kind of absorbed right into it. Just mark that line. It's kind of rough. I mean, if this were out on the face of the body, I would do a little bit more accurate, but in here, not a big deal. So now we're measuring up in here. How much does it go in? It goes in 1 inch and 3/4. So 1 3/4. Does it stay 1 3/4 all the way along? No, it drops down to, down here, it's only 1 1/8 down in here. So 1 1/8. All right, so I'm gonna grab a piece of steel that will cover this here. And then down, as it gets down, it'll have to taper over. So once we get this piece built, I can cut it out of there, and then I can see what the condition of this rocker is down in here. All right, I don't know how I didn't notice this, but this is not pie shaped here. This was just bent because it's so thin. And just moving it around had bent it. So this goes down to, I'll measure it right about here, and then it goes straight down. So I'll measure it down to from here to here, and then we'll join up the 4 inch down to there. So that's more of a, it's not straight down. It is a little bit in, but not bad. All right, I got a nice piece of steel here. So I have to come in 2.5 inches. Where's my marker? Right here. This will be the first bend. I don't think I have to do it all, but I will for now. So 2.5 inches, like that. Now it was 2 inches up from the bottom, and that went all the way along here, and then 3.5 inches here, right from here, sorry, from this line. That was the bottom of it right there, and that was the end of that lower section too. Almost perfect. That square is the right height for that, and then it'll come straight down like so, like that. And this is where the rocker is. And then this will be a brake. All right, so at the top, because this is 10.5 inches tall, right down to there. And then on the top, from this line, it was 4 inches to the face of that, where the first brake would be. And then it dropped down to, what, 3.5 here, so that would be a line. So like this. Well, that's a horrible sounding car. So this is a brake line here. This will be a brake all the way down. This terminates, this will be gone. Straight out from there. So I can put a line out the whole way. Like this. And this will all be cut out, because that's where it stops right there, and this should be straight up and down. It's not quite, there it is. So 1 3/4 inches down to 1 1/4 inches up here. And that's kind of a brake line. That is a brake line. It's not kind of one, it is a brake line. It's like that. So that is a brake. And then from here, so it goes out 1.5 inches like this, but then it kind of comes straight down and like a J hook. Follows the shape of this here. So that's kind of what we're looking for. But this I can cut once I can cut it out once I have this to lay over it. This is an easy brake. This is going to be an easy brake too, because I can cut this out now, and I can guess, I'm going to measure up how high can I cut that off without having to go all the way up. If I go up 4 inches from the bottom, that gives me plenty. Just a rough line over. Yeah, and that'll clear all that bad stuff. So I can get rid of this. This here, can get rid of this here. This will be broke. This will be broke the other way, and this will be broke back again. So it looks like there's lots of room for the brake. So let me get these pieces cut out. I'm going to use the zip cut for that because it's a little bit more delicate. But before we cut it, let's just kind of take a peek here. If this makes sense. Oh yeah. So there's where it goes down, joins up with the rocker. And then it goes up in here, and I can do, if you guys can see it, and that'll fold over. And that tucks in this line right here. It tucks in a bit, right there, and then it goes flat again. Pretty straightforward stuff. But I'll have to get rid of these excess, these spots, because that I won't need to go up here, and I don't need to go out here. Well, I think this is going to be okay. One-handed here, of course. There we go. They can be tweaked a bit. There it goes. Yeah, so that'll fit in there. That's going to fit in there so. Remember that once it goes in, it'll be tighter. And I can tweak it some as I go. Yeah, this could come, yeah, it has to be wrapped around a little further to bring it forward some where the rocker is. But I think it's good because I can see it, like there's lots of metal to bring over yet. So I think this is going to be good. So now what I can do, I can cut off back here some. So now I can cut off this old piece, and I'll just cut it. I don't know if I'll do a cut and butt. on it. I'm going to look at that. This area here, I still kind of want to just bring it straight up just to save going into this area, but I need to get this old crap off here, or at least some of it anyway. Just to make sure the metal's good. Yeah, I think it's going to be good there. All right. So I'm just going to cut it so I can get rid of the bulk of this, and then I can cut and butt. I made a little boo-boo here. I'm going to have to weld a little piece back in. I went a little bit. I was supposed to go on an angle, and I just did a notch. And you can see I'm going to have to put a little about a 1/4 inch of steel in there. That's not a big deal. But for now, I just want to get rid of this old stuff. So let's get rid of the old stuff and leave myself room to do a cut and butt. And then I'm going to try to get rid of some more of this gunk. There, that's gone. So now, let's take a peek in here. What's going on in here? Well, before we do, let's see how this fits. And then I got some, oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Right there, room to cut and butt. Fitting nice over here. Come on over and have a look. So like that. And that fits down there. And flush on the bottom. This does not, where you might not be able to see it, but right here doesn't touch anything. And then the dog leg came around like that. Perfect. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's gonna look good. So inside here, whoa, doggies. It's not bad. It is not bad. It's actually better than I thought it was. This has to come off here. Yeah, like that. Not much holding that on. So this will all have to be cleaned up, rust treated. They didn't, they did all the overlaps, but they didn't weld it together there. Anyway, they seam sealed it, but then there was a big hole there. So I don't know, that's factory. No one else has been in here except me. Let me get a air hose and blow this out. This looks really good. Probably doesn't look good to you guys, but it looks good to me. Get rid of this. And I'll grind that off now instead of beating on everything. But yeah, that's solid. This will have to be re-seam sealed before I close it in. This is nice in here, and I'm going to cut. I have to cut some of that off anyway, which I didn't do yet. But I just want to mark it before I. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'll do a button when I do the button cut. I'll take that off. And this needs to be this joint here needs to be just bent a little bit further. I'm going to round it a little bit. There it goes. Oh yeah. And we'll finesse that in when the time comes. Good, good, good. No need to put Clecos in, I don't think. I think I can just tack it on there. I'll clean up the weld where the weld's going to go all along. I cut a little bit over large there when I was cutting out the old dog leg. But we can make that work. Good. There's a piece. Yeah, this is holding it off the rocker. All right, so now I'll go ahead and I'm going to clean all this up, and it's going to have to be de-rusted and painted, and also the back side of this needs to be primed and painted. So when I put it on there like that, because I can't get in there again once, this is a one-shot deal. So I'll get all this cleaned up best I can, and some rust paint on it. Probably that'll be the biggest thing. Put some of the phosphoric acid on, let it sit for 24 hours. and then hit it with some rust paint. I think that's what my plan's going to be, but I'll wire wheel it first.